Welcome to Spenny and the Nets. We are back. Episode 230. I am your host, Spen Harris. After a brief hiatus, your favorite Nets podcast has returned, and I am joined as always, 65% of the time by my co-host and little brother, Nick Shanmans. Nick is rocking the Nets and Devils and Broncos and Red Sox shirt. It seems like a custom job. Nick, what's happening, brother?
How many people in the world do you think are Nets, Devils, Broncos, and Red Sox fans?
Very few.
I want to form a club of those teams' fan base, and we would just grab a beer, catch up.
I
Shout
don't hate
out,
that.
shout out to Marty Stess for the shirt.
I don't hate that. You might be grabbing a beer with yourself. I think the probability that someone shares the same fandom in those four teams, and let's read them again. Stand up, please. It is Nets, Devils, Broncos, and Red Sox. The
Well,
prob
let me say it's not hard to believe someone would be a Nets and a Devils fan, right?
Correct.
New
Correct.
Jersey, New Jersey Devils New Jersey Nets to Brooklyn Nets to New Jersey Devils. They were both based in New Jersey. That is you. You are a fan of both teams. Red Sox, I bet there are so many people that are Nets, Devils, Red Sox fans, right? Because you need like one thing. You need like your dad to be from Boston, or like my case, I went to college in Boston. I wasn't a big baseball fan before that, and I liked the Red Sox because of the Boston and Fenway experience. Now, the Broncos are where it gets interesting, right? I became a Broncos fan because I liked playing Madden 2003 with Jake Plummer, Tatum Bell. I don't know who else would have that experience. Maybe you had to be born in New Jersey with your mom from Boston and your dad from Denver, or some sort of combination of that. I do think there should be other people with that combination. Please comment, tag us, tell us who the Nets, Devils, Broncos, Red Sox fans are. If you find one, there is a reward.
All right, so really the Denver Broncos from 2003, that was the reason that you love the Broncos from Madden.
Yes, and I felt we grew up in an environment in New York, New Jersey, where everyone was a Yankees fan. Everyone's a Rangers fan. There's so many Knicks fans. I don't like just joining the mainstream fandom. I will say football, Giants and Jets before they won the two Super Bowls. The Giants, like it wasn't like those were two incredible teams, but with that said, I still wanted to find someone else, another team I could relate to and connect with on a deeper level.
Yeah, Clinton Portis was the starting running back for the Broncos in 2003, not Tatum Bell.
It was good talking to you about the shirt, but we should probably get to the Nets stuff.
All right, let's talk Nets. So, for those who don't know, if you're a new listener, welcome. If you're an old listener, basically we took a brief hiatus. So what has changed since our last episode recorded late in July? Well, Nick, a few things have changed. We're a lot closer to the NBA season now than we were in July. Number one. Number two, we are in week 5 of the NFL season. Yes, that is correct. Week 5 just ended. Number three, I was an extra in one of Nick's movies. For those who don't know, Nick is a director, he's a writer, he's an actor. In this one, he was a writer and director in, and I'm
I
actually a
was
part
not
of the.
directing. I was writing and producing and acting
I
in it.
said writing and acting in this one.
You said
Uh,
direct,
I said directing. I said you are a director, just not in this one.
and then you said he was writing and directing.
You're right. I'm sorry. My apologies. He was a writer and an actor in this one. I was a featured extra. And Nick, what else has happened? Oh, we have a sponsor of the podcast, Nick.
Who is it?
Who is it? I'll tell you. DraftKings is going to be the new official sponsor of Spenny and the Nets. We'll be doing ad reads as we do more episodes, as we get closer to the season. No ad read today, but I'm very excited to have DraftKings as a sponsor of the show. This is a big deal. This is something that, we've been working 4.5 years on this show, and we have not had an official sponsor until this point. Shout out to DraftKings. Very excited to get rolling and rocking with them. We'll have promo codes for you guys in the near future, but just overall overjoyed to be affiliated with such a big name.
You said this wasn't an ad read, but like technically you still mentioned the name, so it kind of felt like an ad read.
Well, it's not an ad read.
Listen, I got $100 in my DraftKings account right now. I hit two big parlays. Lost yesterday on the Giants money line. They're up 14 to 3. I would have hit a $5 to win $200 parlay. I picked every other game, and the Giants stunk wonkies. And I'm mad because I picked that was the strongest game. I should have picked the Cowboys as my because the Cowboys were in my parlay, but I should have picked the Cowboys individually because the Cowboys actually made the Jets look like Cam Thomas would make you look on a basketball court.
Oh, he'd make me look bad.
Yeah.
That's great. And I don't know how much gambling advice we'll be giving on this net show. The only reason I say that is I would not recommend gambling on the Nets unless you're going to do like player props and stuff because the Nets are not going to win a ton of games this season. Maybe they'll cover, maybe they'll be good against the spread. Who knows? We'll give a little gambling advice. I would say a little gambling advice, not a lot, but we'll share our thoughts and opinions on some of these player props and spreads as the Nets season gets started.
Listen, by the time they hear this pod, this game will be over. But I want you guys to know Jaguars money line tonight, Monday night when we're recording against the Chiefs. Jaguars money line.
I don't have the hotline right now, but obviously, if you have a gambling addiction, take that into account as my co-host gives everyone these random gambling picks. All right, we ready to get started? Talk some Nets hoops.
Yeah, I just wanted to see. All right, the Jags are plus 3.5, plus 170. And obviously, if you have a gambling problem, you like stop gambling. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. All right, let's do it. By the way, 1-800-GAMBLER is what you call. If you have a gambling problem, 1-800-426-2537 or click on one of the links below for more information about problem gambling.
Or just start winning more.
That's not, you can't say that after I say what I said. Okay, EP 230. Let's get into it. We had some live Nets basketball over the weekend, I believe on Saturday at 8 p.m. Hapoel? How do you say it?
I believe it's Hapoel.
Hapoel Jerusalem came to Brooklyn, came to the Barclays Center. Now look, obviously not an NBA team. They're in a Euro League. This wasn't are the Nets going to win? Are they going to lose? The Nets obviously won. 123 to 88 was the final score. Now, before we get into how everyone looked and all that, I got a question for you, Nick. If you're Hapoel Jerusalem, do you think the players are excited to come to this to Brooklyn and take on a Nets team? Like, do you think they want to do that, or is it one of those things? Do they dread it because they know they're probably going to get the shit kicked out of them against one of the worst teams in the NBA? So they're literally flying across the world to come get their shit pushed in by the Brooklyn Nets. Do they like it or do they hate it?
Well, I think there's two ways to look at it, right? It's kind of like the college football thing where like the University of Georgia will fly out like Monmouth University just to destroy them and they'll pay them like $1 million and Monmouth will get the money and they'll get to be on TV. Now, I don't know if or think there's any financial transaction between the two. I'm not sure. But what I will say is if you look at that Hapoel Jerusalem roster, it's a lot of former American collegiate athletes. So I would assume they're all hyped to play against an NBA team as a tryout. I think a lot of these players on Jerusalem, if you look at the colleges they went to, a lot in the States, a lot had NBA aspirations, maybe were on some summer leagues back in the day or in the last few years. I think the players are amped to get a shot to go against the NBA players. I also think they're amped to get a shot to go against the weaker team in the NBA, as in the Brooklyn Nets. So I would imagine this is a joint, mutually beneficial situation. I don't think if there wasn't a benefit to Hapoel Jerusalem, they wouldn't have made the trek out. And if I'm saying it, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a longer team name that's like Hapoel Bank something Jerusalem. And as a Jewish person, I just really enjoyed that there was a bank name in the name. Do you have it in front of you?
I don't. No, it just says Hapoel Jerusalem, BC. That's what it says for me. It doesn't have the full name.
Okay,
Well,
so on
Nick,
Wikipedia, it's Hapoel Bank Yahav Jerusalem.
Got it. And what league are they in?
They're in the Israeli Premier League and the Euro Cup.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Understood. All right. So
And they
let's talk.
play, Spen, I can't make this up. They play at Payas Arena.
I love that.
That's amazing.
That's really good. All right. Let's get into it. So, yeah, this was our first chance to kind of look at what this team will look like together. We had seen obviously some of the rookies in summer league, but we hadn't had a chance to see guys like Terrence Mann, guys like Michael Porter Jr., Kobe Buffkin, these new additions that the Nets acquired this offseason. We hadn't been able to see them in a Nets uniform outside of like training camp footage. Finally, we get to see the young guys, some of the vets on this team. And overall, Nick, I gotta say, I did like what I saw from a lot of players on this team. So I want to start by saying no Drake Powell. He's recovering from an offseason injury. No Jaeger Joyman, also recovering from an offseason injury. No Hayden Highsmith, same thing. Those are the three guys that did not play. Although I've heard a lot of good things about Drake Powell and basically the sense that he might be the best athlete on this team. And that's saying a lot. So excited to see him get in action. We saw a little bit of Jaeger Joyman in the summer league. But the one thing I noticed is Jordy Fernandez has these guys ready to play. You can just tell from jump that you can sense this is his team this year, right? First year coach last year, obviously a lot of moving pieces. The team looks much different, from the start of last year to the start of this year. But the main thing is there's not a lot of veterans on this team. I think that Hayden Highsmith and Terrence Mann are the two oldest players on this team. And when you think of those guys, I don't think you think of them as old players. Michael Porter Jr., he was a young guy in Denver. Now he's a vet on this Nets team. So I kind of like that in the sense that it doesn't seem like any of these players outside of maybe Cam Thomas is the only one I can think of are going to have too much friction with Jordy Fernandez. So in terms of the game notes, here's what I noticed, Nick, and feel free to interject. Feel free to give your thoughts. I thought Terrence Mann looked really good. Mann had 15 points in about 19 minutes. The weird thing with Terrence Mann is he's bounced around. He was in LA, he was on the Hawks. I don't think that anyone who knows Terrence Mann's game thinks he's a bad player. I just think he hasn't had the opportunity to really shine. So him being in Brooklyn is an opportunity for him to kind of make a name for himself in the NBA. Was really enthused from what I saw from him. I think he can thrive here. And especially if the Nets end up trading Cam Thomas because they kind of play the same position, I think that, we can see a lot of Terrence Mann this year. And he's from Brooklyn. So nice little homecoming story here too. Any thoughts on Terrence Mann being a Brooklyn Net and his performance on Saturday?
I thought he was phenomenal. I mean, Brooklyn, we go hard. But just like you said, 6 of 7 from the field, a plus 17, plus or minus, was not the top plus or minus. You know who that was?
Can I guess?
Yeah,
Ben Sharaf.
Ben Sharaf, plus 25. In 18 minutes, he had 9 points, 6 assists, 4 for 6 from the field. He was someone who stood out to me. Also, Noah the Clown, Clowney. What'd you think of his performance?
All right. Can I start with Ben Sharaf and then we'll get to Noah Clowney?
Yeah.
So if you had to pick a star of this game, it was Ben Sharaf. Started at point guard. There is a smoothness to his game, Nick. He finds guys, a lot of one hand sort of wraparound passes in this game. I believe he's 6'6", but he has a very tall, just sort of stature for a point guard. He's 6'6". Yeah, I was correct. 19 years old, but he's been a pro for the last few seasons. There is a very smooth element to his game. He has vision. He can pass the ball. A few nice drives to the basket. That's sort of his MO. Like the Nets really liked his game because he can get in the paint. He can finish with both hands. And Nick, he hit a three. He took 1 3. He made it. He looks the part of an NBA player. Now, I think the biggest issue for Sharaf is this team has a lot of point guards. They got Nolan Traore, who did not play as well as I think people would have liked in that game on Saturday, but he's also a point guard. Jaeger Joyman plays a little point forward. Kobe Buffkin, acquired from Atlanta, I believe. He's a point guard. You still have Cam Thomas who can play a little point guard. Terrence Mann can probably play some points. So unfortunately, I think the only thing that Sharaf has going for him against the inconsistent jumper is the fact that this team has a lot of point guards, but he was the star of this game. Don't get it twisted. I think Nets fans are going to be pleasantly surprised with what they see out of Ben Sharaf once the season starts.
He has a confidence to him that I think a lot of players on the team, especially a lot of young guys, don't have. He has I would say where a lot of players hesitate. He will run at you and he'll be a bang guy if he needs to when he's taking the drive. I also want to talk about his discipline because you have a lot of young guys who are trying to prove themselves and they're just hucking shots. I mean, as soon as you said 1 for 1 from three and then he didn't take any more, bro, if me or you hit our first 3-pointer, we're easily hucking up another 4 or 5. Like you hit one, you're feeling it. This guy had an open shot, he hit it. He knows his game. He knows he's better on the drive. He's not forcing it. So for a night, what is he, 19 years old, he said?
Yes.
To kind of have, I would say, the wherewithal and the patience that he has to not force, to not play out of his element while still improving his game and developing as a player. That to me, kind of, I would say, shows a maturity to him that some other players on this team are still have time to prove, but that they have not shown quite yet.
The only thing I'll say in terms of you talked about him being a disciplined player, three fouls very early in this game, had to get subbed
I s-
out.
I was talking offensively.
Right, right. Ended up with five fouls for the game. Obviously, has to clean that up. In my mind, if you combined Ben Sharaf and Jaeger Duyman's game, you would get the perfect rookie, right? Because the knock on Duyman, at least in summer league, was he wasn't looking for contact. He was kind of more 3-point shooter, more 3-point shooting from him, less drives to the basket, didn't go to the line too much. Whereas Sharaf is going at you in the paint almost every other play, whether he's trying to put up a shot around the rim or kick it out. He kicked out a few passes to Kobe Buffkin for three. I think there was one maybe to Clowney for three. But if you combine those two guys, you get the perfect NBA player. Joyman's got to get bigger. He's got to feel more comfortable going to the rim, and Sharaf just has to work on his jump shot. But otherwise, really, really strong performance from him. You brought up Noah Clowney, Nick. 13 points for Clowney. What did he have rebound wise? 4 rebounds in a little over 16 minutes. He was 5 of 5 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3-point land, 1 of 3 from the line. But he looks bigger than last year. He looks more confident in his offensive game. And this could be a breakout season for Noah Clowney.
And you know who he looked better than, who I'm having such high hopes for just because I love the guy? Drew Timmy.
Yeah, Timmy didn't get to play a ton in this one, and in the limited time he did, and he didn't look great. I think he really only played in that second half. He got how much time did Timmy get?
He got about
Why is
12.
it? Oh,
I
there he is. He got
went
about 12 minutes.
two
Yeah,
for six, 4 points. I mean, listen, there was those preseason games before a couple weeks ago.
the summer league. Yeah,
Timmy was just Timmying out.
but again, to think about the comp. I mean, I don't want to say think about the competition because yes, it is competition. Can't be that much better than summer league, right? Um, I don't know. I don't know. Listen, what I'll say this. That position's crowded. Just like the point guard position I mentioned, that position is Noah Klein. Well, think about the 4 and the 5 right now. These are all the big men on the team. Nick Claxton, Day'Ron Sharp, Noah Clowney, Danny Wolf, Drew Timmy. That's how many names? One, two. That's 5 guys that are vying for two positions. Obviously, Claxton and Clowney are gonna get a lot of playing time. We just signed Day'Ron Sharp. He's gonna get time. It is gonna be between Timmy and Danny Wolf. And between you and I kind of like Danny Wolf's potential a little bit more than Drew Timmy's. So I just don't know how much opportunity there's going to be for Drew Timmy to see the floor this year.
Yeah, I understand. And if Timmy doesn't step up, you got to do what's best for the team. I just think the players you're talking about, Clowney, Day'Ron, Claxton, long, lanky guys, good rebounders, good finishers, good alley-oop players. I think Timmy's game is different. He stretches the floor more. He's got a real nice touch. He's got a good shot. Like to me, if Timmy is at the top of his game stylistically, I think he could separate himself. If he's not, then there's no point of having him because he might not do the other things as well. But if you're looking at a guy who has some intangibles, if he can consistently play well, I like what Timmy brings to the table.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess there's sort of three guys that are my odd men out when it comes to playing time on this Nets team, and I don't know if they're gonna be on the roster, at some points this year. They might be two-way players, or I don't know. There's only so much room for playing time. But here are my three guys that are the odd men out right now. And there's a few more guys I want to get to in terms of their performance. You mentioned it. Drew Timmy's number one. I think he's the odd man out in a crowded front court. Dariq Whitehead, I think his future with the Nets is very bleak. He's had a lot of opportunities to showcase what he can do, and he just hasn't stuck out to me. He came in this game, I think he made a three, but he's a guy who, if it's going to happen for him in the NBA, it's not going to happen in Brooklyn. And then the final guy who I think is fighting for his life, and he looked decent in that game the other night, and he looked decent at times in his short tenure with the Nets so far, but Jalen Wilson. I think we're going to see a decent amount of him in the preseason. I think we'll see a good amount of him this year because the only reason I think we see a lot of Jalen Wilson, we don't have a ton of wing players right now. And Drake Powell and Hayden Highsmith, who are both wings, they're coming back from injury. But I do think Jalen Wilson's days as a net are numbered.
Well, yeah, we don't have any wings because you just named 9 point guards and 9 bigs. But I understand. And listen, a game like you're saying, what is the benefit for Hapoel Jerusalem? But it's also what are we going to see from our players? And you do take into consideration this is sub NBA level talent, right? So theoretically, if you want to compete in the NBA, these guys you should be 2xing your performance against. And listen, everyone can have an off night, right? Timmy could have genuinely not got enough minutes, didn't get the opportunities, maybe forced up a couple shots that just rimmed out. Whatever it was, it could have just been a bad showing. But you're right. If these guys consistently are getting opportunities and minutes to show themselves, and then you're playing Hapoel Jerusalem, which should be the easiest competition of the summer, technically, I don't know what to tell you if you're not stepping up in that situation.
Jalen Wilson had an okay game, 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 4 from three. Obviously, for him, it's can he consistently hit that 3-point jumper if he's going to be in there. Um, yeah, I mentioned it earlier. I didn't see enough out of Nolan Traore to get too excited. Traore was out there for 18 minutes. He finished with 7 points, 2 of 6 from the field. He only had 2 assists compared to Ben Sharaf's 6. I think what I read, and I wasn't really watching these guys defensively. I read that Traore looked better than Sharaf defensively. Sharaf looked better than Traore offensively. Um, but yeah, if you're Traore, I mean, you were drafted before Sharaf. People are telling me that Yoyman isn't a point guard, so I'm assuming that Traore is our point guard of the future. After one preseason game and some summer league action, like I don't know. I don't know who's the point guard of the future. Right now, my eyes are telling me Sharaf, but all this hype about Traore coming out of France, I just I don't know. So I want to see him play better. I know it's one game, like you mentioned. Anyone can have an off game. Um,
But I'm
but
looking at they both had 18 minutes.
yeah,
Traore plus 10, Sharaf plus 25, Sharaf 6 assists, Traore's 2. Yes, one showing, but that's a significant difference in two competing point guards. You look at that box score, you're saying there's one obvious point guard who outplayed the other. So just food for thought.
you got to realize Sharaf got the start too. So Traore can't. I mean, that factors in if you're playing with the first unit or the second unit. Um, yeah, that's my thoughts on him. Uh, we'll bounce around between rookies and veterans. MPJ, seeing him in a Nets uniform, shooting and dunking the basketball. I mean, I don't know. He looked okay. I don't love the way he moves. Um, and I don't think he cared too much about this game. So I don't know, but he strikes me, Michael Porter Jr. strikes me as a dude who's going to take and miss a lot of shots. And there's going to be a game where he's going to go for like 40 and hit like 11 three-pointers. And then there's going to be games where he goes 0 of 12 from the field and like 0 of 8 from three. It was just weird seeing him in a Nets uniform because like he might be in terms of notoriety around the league. One could argue Michael Porter Jr. I know Cam Thomas is obviously pretty popular, but MPJ is like the most notable player on our roster.
Well, you're saying too, notable and notoriety and notorious are different things. Notorious is like, is he do something bad? Like, is he like, no, notably, yes. MPJ is probably the most popular player. I I think it's weird with MPJ, right? Because we all like when like some name gets on your team. It's like, oh, it's like MPJ, right? He won a championship with the Nuggets. He's a what, 17, 18 points a game the last few years, sharpshooter, can go on super hot streaks. He is or he was on a team with a lot of attention, and therefore coming to the Nets is a big deal. But like you said, like he's going to huck up shots. He went from being the fourth option on a championship contender to the first option on probably a bottom 4 or 5 team in the East. Is it exciting to have a player people know on your team? Yes. Is it exciting from the standpoint of MPJ is going to thread the needle in terms of having a winning team? No. I don't think MPJ is also like a veteran presence that's leading the team. I don't think he's helping develop the young guys. I don't think he's taking guys under his wings. I don't think he's going to start passing more and looking for the open man. I think he came to get his. I think he came to get a check, get his shots up, and at some point, he either wants to be the man on a bad team or he wants to use this as kind of a reset point, take a lot of shots to show people what he can do, and then maybe boomerang back out to a better team. So the MPJ thing is bittersweet in terms of cool to have a guy on our team who is somebody, but I don't think this really in any way whatsoever gets us closer to having a championship team.
That's fair. I also with my whole notoriety thing before, like I guess I don't know how you'd word it, but he has been notorious this summer for saying a lot of dumb shit. Have you
Oh,
paid
for
it?
sure, for sure. I think
Yeah,
he was like a
yeah.
flat earther at one point or said some
I mean,
stuff.
he made comments about the WNBA. He said that a McDonald's All-American boys high school team from his era would beat the WNBA All-Star team. He compared WNBA pay demands to comparing ping pong players to basketball players, arguing that if even someone is very talented, revenue and audience interest matters. He said he splits the rent with his ex-girlfriend. Oh no, I'm sorry. He said he split rent with his ex-girlfriend during his large NBA contract to test whether someone is with him for the right intentions. He also said she needs to act right month to month. Um, yeah, just a lot of, and then sports betting integrity issues. He spoke about how legal sports betting is affecting athletes, suggesting players are in a lose-lose situation due to prop bets. He gave an example. Tell your homies bet 10,000 on my under, I'm going to act like I got an injury, and explained how people might feel tempted to rig performance to help bettors. For those who don't know, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, Jonte Porter, was arrested for fixing his stat line in NBA games.
Well, yeah, Jonte Porter was banned from the NBA, I believe, for betting, and then Michael Porter Jr. his brother said something like, "Yeah, my brother's addiction's like gambling, mine is women." So like he's just an odd guy who says some crazy stuff. I can't remember what he said about COVID back in the day. Like he just always running his mouth. Um, with that said, he's a good shooter and he's a confident shooter. But yeah, I would say like of anybody who came to this Nets team of notability of the past 10 years, probably bottom for me. Like I was more excited about Cam Johnson. I was more excited about Dinwiddie. Like maybe the only person I wasn't more excited about was like Dorian Finney-Smith.
Wow. Okay. Interesting comparison. I think it would be a very funny SNL sketch to just do Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast.
Also, speaking of Jonte Porter, if you are addicted to gambling, please call the
All
number
right.
Spencer
Yep.
mentioned before.
Yeah, I don't have it up, but yeah, call that number. Okay. All right. Outside of all those guys, Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton, they look the same. I mean, Cam Thomas is a bucket. He got his. Claxton still looks energized out there. I think my one worry with Claxton is when is enough, like when is losing this much just takes its toll on him and he just stops giving the effort. I think he's still, this team paid Claxton a few years ago, so he's still dedicated to this team, still has the same energy. I think Zaire Williams might be our best on-ball defender. Just watching him, the way he irritates guys on defense, he's a really. I'm glad that we retained the services of Zaire Williams, and then two more guys. Kobe Buffkin seems like a fun piece off the bench. Shorter point guard, has a nice little floater to his game, took a few threes. Yeah, he can be fun to watch. It's another reclamation project in Brooklyn. And then finally, Danny Wolf. Danny Wolf had some moments in this game. I think he finished with a decent stat line. No, 5 points in 14 minutes. What is this? 5 assists, 5 rebounds. So the old classic 5, 5, and 5 game for Danny Wolf. He just looks so slow out there. Like his foot, he cannot guard anyone on the perimeter. So that's my only worry with Danny Wolf is he too slow for the NBA? I mean, obviously, like we saw what Nikola Jokic became. I'm not comparing them, but Nikola Jokic isn't the quickest player in the world. So can Danny Wolf make up for being slow by just being an incredibly gifted offensive player? I don't know. Like we talked about the fact that we have a crowded front court. So what are your thoughts on Danny Wolf?
I like your optimism. Listen, if Danny Wolf just becomes the next Nikola Jokic, then it's all right that he's a little slow. He'll just be a great player. I guess I feel this similar about Drew Timme as I do to Danny Wolf, of like not the most athletic guys, definitely have a bunch of unique special skills, a very particular set of skills. But again, if not put in the right system, I think Timmy and Wolf fail. And I think they kind of have odds against them at this point. Wolf's competing with a bunch of other players who are already at this point in their career more rounded, can kind of fit into a generic system. I think Wolf, almost like Ben Simmons, is that a compliment to Wolf or an insult to Simmons? Um, Needs to have scores around him and needs to have quickness and defense around him to kind of supplement what he does best. You probably wouldn't have Wolf and Timmy in the lineup, or that would probably just be like playing senior citizens. But I like the risk and investment you take on these sort of guys. Because, like you said, Jokic, super slow, overlooked in the draft. No one thought he'd do too much. And look at him now. So take the risk on those sort of players, and one of them's got to pan out.
There was a moment where Danny Wolf had a really nice bounce pass to Ben Sharaf, and Sharaf hit a layup, and I forget who the announcer was, but he called it the Jewish connection.
I love that. And against Hapoel Jerusalem.
Right, and I think they liked it too.
And everyone on Jerusalem started clapping.
Um, that pretty much does it for this game. Like I said, a lot of nice things we saw as fans from these guys. Jordy has them playing together. Individually, I think that it'll be a fun season just to watch some of these rookies grow and to watch some of these reclamation projects and some of these veterans playing for their next contract. But yeah, that was really it. In terms of the rest of the schedule for Brooklyn, the next preseason game is Friday against Phoenix. That's in Brooklyn. And then 2 days later on Sunday, the Nets play the Suns again in Phoenix. And then we wrap up the preseason against the Toronto Raptors in Toronto on 10/17. Shout out to Jack Willie. Um, yeah, that's what we got in terms of the schedule. Other Nets news, I did want to just call this out because I thought this was interesting. Ian Eagle, who's been the voice of the Nets since you and I were kids, really. He's going to be scaling back his Nets games. He's only going to be calling 10 to 15 games this year, much less than previous seasons where he was calling about 40 games per season due to his big role with Amazon Prime Video. Nick, thoughts on Ian Eagle not calling as many Nets games?
I mean, we were blessed for so long, arguably the best commentator in the NBA. The most magical, powerful, distinguishable voice I've ever heard calling sports. It's no wonder, man, this guy's getting a big paycheck. The Nets at this point, he's a loyal guy. I know he'll always be a Nets guy at heart. you're getting calls to the big leagues. You don't turn it down. I don't think the Nets right now, too, are the most captivating and exciting team for him to be watching and calling. So listen, Ian, spelled Ian. Nobody understands why. I wish him the best of luck. I hope he keeps coming back and giving us his time and love and attention. But Eagle's gonna fly. That's all I gotta say. No, this is what I'll say. Eagle! You're muted, but it is a Scrubs reference. Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. And Scrubs is coming back, by the way.
Oh, trust me, I know. And shout out Bill Lawrence for not hiring me to be a writer on the show.
So I am sad that Iron Eagle's not calling as many games, but could we at least get his son, Noah Eagle, to fill in for all the games he's not going to call this year? Noah Eagle is he's getting to be almost as good as his dad calling games. Noah Eagle's great. And if I close my eyes during the game, I can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, I'd want Eagle Ito or Lil Ito, Lil Eagle as they call him, calling the games. I agree. Voice very similar, a lot more time under his belt. Ian's maybe got 20 to 30 years. Noah's got at least another 50, so Noah for the win.
All right, two more things. I wanted to correct myself. The games on October 10th and October 12th against Phoenix, they're actually in the Venetian Arena in Macau, China. So
That's cool.
the next two preseason games for the Nets will be in China, and then I believe that last game is in Toronto. This isn't Nets news. I did want to call this out. Did you see LeBron James's tweet today?
No, what did he say?
So it's a video of him sitting down. It's him. He's there. These two chairs on a basketball court. He walks to the chair and he sits down. It's a 10-second video, and he captioned the decision of all decisions, October 7th, 12 p.m. EST. And then he hashtagged the second decision.
Kind of insensitive to do it on October 7th. But I'm excited to hear what it is.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. No, interesting
Let's
timing.
guess. What do you think it is?
It's an advertisement.
Oh.
It's an ad. That's what I think. I think that it's one of those things where you get everyone excited and then you're like, hey, like the Lakers are partnering with Samsung this year. Like something stupid like that.
I think he's going to start wearing a toupee in the games because he's getting pretty bald at this point.
What if he just announced that he's going to play baseball next year?
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool.
That'd be pretty sick, right?
I would love to see LeBron do one snap at tight end.
I don't think he'd be good.
He really is good.
I think he'd get rocked. I think a linebacker would rock him and break his ribs.
Wow.
All right. All right. That does it for this episode of Spenny and the Nets at 2:30. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.
Spenny and the Nets.